Minister Yusufu Bakayoko, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs of Cote d'Ivoire. Honorable Minister, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Mesdames et Messieurs, les chefs de gouvernement,
ladies and gentlemen, heads of government, heads of delegation, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would, on behalf of the Ivorian delegation and on my own behalf, wish to express my thanks to the people and government of Denmark for the warm welcome afforded us, as well as all the kind attention focused on us since we arrived in this fair city of Copenhagen. May I also be allowed to echo previous speakers in expressing my satisfaction at being able to take part in this conference on climate change. Mr. President, it's rightly felt to be a global problem, and climate change constitutes a major threat to the very balance, the equilibrium of mankind, and thus requires clear, committed responses at the international level. I would, therefore, wish to hail the initiative of the Secretary-General of the United Nations, who, through the organization of this meeting, yet again proves the will that he and the United Nations have to face the many challenges which the international community has to address today. Mr. President, Cote d'Ivoire, my country, like all the states in the Gulf of Guinea, is today under threat from the north by desert creep and in the south by substantial coastal erosion. Furthermore, under the pressure of climate change, my country has to face an effective drop in rainfall levels, irregular rainy seasons, where the season starts late and ends early, an increase in temperature, persistent, harsh, dry seasons, and floods. Now, this variability, this changeability of the climate, which has led to upheavals in so many fields of activity, particularly farming and health, has led to population displacement, where people search for a better life. And for these people, we have to find adequate adaptation solutions to combat climate change. In order to take part in the search for solutions, together with the whole international community, Cote d'Ivoire ratified the convention and signed the Kyoto Protocol. And in that context, it has already submitted its first and second national communications on climate change. If I look at the activities to combat climate change that my country has been involved in the forest sector, with the assistance of some of our development partners, we have planted new forest and reforested several thousand hectares of degraded land. Similarly, my country is the first country in our economic area to benefit from a CDM project, although it must be said that we would like to see an improvement in and a simplification of the access procedures. So, the scale of climate change phenomena today requires that we seek global, balanced solutions in a spirit of harmony and solidarity. In this light, The Kyoto Protocol, since its entry into force in 2005, has been what is indeed a modest step, but an important one in the cutting down of greenhouse gas emissions. Considering the harmful, unpredictable consequences which might derive from a temperature increase above 1.5 degrees, Cote d'Ivoire would very much like to see the developed countries reduce their GHG emissions by at least 40% below 1990 levels between now and 2020, and by at least 80 to 95% below 1990 levels by the year 2050, as is indeed recommended by the IPCC. Mr. President, this 15th conference must be the place where we arrive at an agreement acceptable to one and all. And that is indeed why my delegation urges the industrialized countries to step up their efforts for sustainable financing in a phased way of adaptation measures such as capacity building, transfer of technology, and risk management, which are priorities not just for Cote d'Ivoire, but also for the other developing countries. In the same vein, Cote d'Ivoire would like to see agroforestry taken into consideration, because this activity is an undeniable source of income for so many millions of rural dwellers through RED+ in the GHG emissions reduction strategies. And indeed, my country would like to see the GEF designated as the clearinghouse for the collection and management of climate change funds, given its experience and reform actually underway there to adapt to the needs of the various parties. In conclusion, sir, I would like to restate the position of Cote d'Ivoire, namely that we need to preserve and strengthen the Kyoto Protocol and the Convention if we wish to protect our planet and the very future of mankind. I thank you.